Mushapo School Project 2015.
On est tous membres de l'ONG.
The members of our Congolese Charitable Association ADH Congo, here Professor Mpona, next to him Gilbert Nkuli, then Wolfgang and Ambassador André are talking with the Minister of Education, Mr. Macker, in his office. We explained to Mr. Macker that Group Chief Mungamba from the region of Mushapo stopped the construction work of our school for 8 months. Chief Mungamba demanded bribes and confiscated our building materials, which the farm Sader had given to us. We tried to persuade the chief to let us continue without paying money, but he refused to change his mind. André even asked the governor of West Kasai for help, but he didn't help either. Finally, André got in touch with Minister Macker, who comes from Chikapa and knows our area very well. When he heard our story, he was upset about the chief's misbehavior and asked us to give him a few days to solve the problem, which he did. 1 week later, our work resumed.
We're trying to get them to stay, to give them their kids as much education as possible.
For our next construction work on our property, we have to produce more than 20,000 new bricks. By now, we have to dig quite deep to get the right kind of earth to make good bricks. Mamas from Mushapo are being paid for each basin of earth that they carry to the place where the bricks are being produced. Each brick is pressed with this metal press. After the earth is shoveled into the form, it is beaten with a piece of wood until it's pressed down. At first we dried the bricks outside and covered them during the rain, but now we are using an old farmhouse for the production. Each brick is carefully formed, then released from the press and dried in the air. The press has to be cleaned and oiled so the next brick comes out smoothly too. Since the children receive free education in our school, something unheard of in Congo, they sometimes help in different aspects of our work. It helps them to appreciate their school more and teaches them to work together. Here they carry bricks for a small distance, but for the major part of the 2-kilometer transport, we hire local workers. Here are some clips of our former school setup in the temporary classrooms on the farmland Sader. The name of our school is ADH Mushapo, École Primaire ADH Mushapo. Before class starts in the morning, the children are used to say a prayer to help them in their work. The school follows the official governmental school curriculum of Congo. It is so inspiring to see those hundreds of children get an education who would not have had that opportunity if we wouldn't have given them this chance. The children in our school learn French from the start. Teacher Mukendi is doing a fantastic job of teaching them French. It is not easy for him as the children at first only speak the local language, either Chiluba or Chokwe.
En Chiluba, c'est-à-dire quoi? Quoi, luja, kuhingaja, tibubana.
The wife of the German ambassador in Kinshasa, Mrs. Manik, who works in the embassy on supporting projects like ours, came with Wolfgang for a visit to Mushapo. Here we are approaching Chikapa, which is about 60 kilometers away from Mushapo. The flights were a challenge as the little planes with 20 or 30 seats, which only fly twice a week, are always overbooked, and you have to persevere to get on that plane or wait a few days for the next one. On our first flight, we had a technical problem and were back in Kinshasa after 20 minutes. The next day we went in this 20-seat plane And when we arrived in Chicapa, we discovered that our luggage wasn't in the plane, although they had told us that it was on board. This meant we had only what was on our body or in our hand luggage. We are about to land in Chicapa now, from where we travel by car to Mushapo. One of our close friends in Kinshasa, Ahmed, the owner of a big company in Congo, just opened a new shop in Chicapa. When he heard that the wife of the German ambassador was going to travel on a motorbike 60 kilometers through the bush, he said that would not be proper, and so he rented this Jeep for our trip. This year the road condition was worse than ever. Although every vehicle going from Chicapa in direction Angola on this national road has to pay a road tax, nothing is being done to fix the road. Like many of the few trucks and cars that pass by this road, we got stuck several times. Jean, our manager in Mushapo, came with us to help the driver find the safest and best way to pass on these muddy roads. Since this truck was in our way, we had to find another path around it. We passed by some kind of a rest stop where the bicycle drivers took a break. Because the driver of the truck back there had a meal in this little restaurant, and because the road is always a one-way lane, we had to find our way around his truck. This happens also when a truck is stranded on the road, like here, where you have to find another way through the bush. Sometimes it's difficult to know which way to go, like the question of where is the lesser trouble. Here we got into a real deep mud hole. A team of passing bicycle drivers helped and saw an opportunity to earn some extra money. They worked hard and were quite inventive. After they saw that they couldn't get the car free with a shovel and pushing, they built a little dam behind and in front of the car to get out the water around the car. Then they could see better under the car and free it from the mud. When you get stranded like this, they have to cut pieces of wood from the surrounding trees and put them under the wheels to give them better grip. Finally, after 2 hours, the car was moving again. It took us 8 hours for the 65 kilometers from Chicapa to Mushapo, and because of these delays, we traveled our last stretch of the journey in the dark. It makes you desperate not to get into a hole at this hour, as nobody is around to help you. When we arrived the next morning at the new school grounds on our own property, over 400 children were wholeheartedly singing to show us their appreciation. Some of the children from the surrounding villages weren't present, as it was Saturday, when they don't have school. We were a day later than expected because of the faulty airplane. Teacher Mukendi had enthusiastically practiced all the activities with the children, and the children gave their all. The national anthem of Congo. School director Pierre gave a special speech because of Mrs. Manik's visit and thanked her for coming all the way to Mushapo on this strenuous trip. One of the children read the program of the presentation.
Nous allons vous présenter les petits soldats.
wa mukala mukanya.
Some students were quoting verses they had memorized, and then a group of children performed a skit.
Maintenant que la voix est dans le
And more lively songs.
Volez comme papillon. Volez comme des oiseaux. Volez comme des oiseaux.
We thoroughly enjoyed the program and were impressed with all that Director Pierre, Teacher Mukendi and the children put into it.
Bonjour élèves, bonjour tout le monde. Merci.
Then Mrs. Manik gave some words of praise and encouragement for all the people present.
J'ai pas pensé que
When she gave the children a new football, they were very happy. We visited each classroom in our new buildings. At the moment, most classes are overcrowded, as the third building is still under construction. But we had to move the school operation because the old temporary buildings on the farmland were no longer safe.
bonjour.
We looked at the temporary toilets and are thankful that the German embassy will soon make it possible for the school to have proper toilets with septic tanks and wash facilities. The embassy is also financing a water reservoir. This blessing will help us to catch the rainwater from the roofs, so we don't have to carry water from the river 80 meters down outside the village during the dry season. We are planning a new agricultural project which we hope to be able to protect better against thieves than in the past. The first pineapples are already planted and new fruits are coming out. Jean, here with Mrs. Manik, is an excellent and experienced agronomist who worked as a manager on the former Sadder farm. He knows the local people very well and is working with us since the beginning of the project. He is organizing all the workers, overseeing the project, communicating with us regularly, and teaching the secondary students agriculture. In this part of our property, we are planning to build a health center, also financed by the embassy. This will be a big step forward for the whole area, as too many children and adults here die due to a lack of medical care. After our visit at the school, we had special meetings with the teachers and the school committee, which consists of the following members. Next to Mrs. Manik sits School Director Pierre Mutwala, then the head of the Future Health Center, Chief Mumbatumba, the representative of the Parents Committee, Chief Mweji with his assistant, and Jean, our manager. These are some of the gifts we brought to Mushapo: hats, chocolate and footballs from Germany, and 5 boxes of notebooks. The medicine hadn't arrived yet. On our way back to Kinshasa, we had a good look over Chikapa and were thankful for this inspiring visit with these precious children and all the people helping with the school. We are thankful for all our donors who make this project possible. Any gift, big or small, means a lot and changes a little part of this world. Your gifts are part of this change. Thank you, and may God bless you for your active help.